Thank you, President Carolyn. About a month ago, I was at the Commissioner's Court, and I heard this young lady give a presentation about our census for 2020. I had no idea how important the census is going to be this year and how it impacts our community. So without further ado, I'm going to ask Evie Henson to come up here and give our program. She'll talk a little bit about her own background. She's from Gilmer, went to Gilmer High School, and then she'll bring Evangelina up here to talk about that. But it's really going to be a very interesting, is it Evangelina?
Adriana.
Adriana, I'm sorry. Okay, so anyway, here's Evie, and we're just so pleased to have her. Just give her a big hand. Thank you.
Hey guys, thank you so much for having me. My name is Evie Henson. Like he said, he has been way too kind. I am a local person with a lot of heart and passion for our areas. My background is staffing in media for the last 15 years, and I was offered this opportunity last January. And I'm not into microphones or electronics or anything, so I apologize. I'm more of just a people and a hands person. And I really wanted to make sure that the work that we did in 2020 did not hurt anyone in our community in 2021. And so I did not accept this position with the Department of Commerce till the end of June, because I wanted to make sure that, I think someone I've heard a lot of terms, but a witch hunt or, a trap for our community. And it is not. It has just taken some education and some training. I have learned a lot. A lot of it I knew. A lot of it I had forgotten because we don't use it every day, and some of it is new to me. And so thank you for letting us come speak today about the importance of the census and the importance of the census in definitely East Texas for sure. The last two census guys have taken a hit in what they call rural America. And East Texas falls into that rural America. And you can go to a football game on Friday night, or you can go to the grocery store on Sunday afternoon, and you know darn good and well that our areas are not stagnant and they're not declining. They actually are growing. The Department of Commerce is a statistical department, and so they go based on the numbers. So there is a deficit. We meet with principals and mayors every day, and we give them the statistics and the numbers of our database, and they're like, that's way off. Spoke with a principal the other day. He said, Evie, your Rome shows that we have 32% Hispanic. He said, we're a good, solid 52% Hispanic. So that's 30% of kids that are not being counted in East Texas. And guys, we get about 1,600 to 1,678 per person that's counted, and we lose 1,678 per person that's not counted. And I don't know about y'all, but I could do a lot with 1,678. You multiply that times 30%, like I said, that's just in the school district. Children 1 to 5, another hard to count population number, or birth to 5, excuse me. So we want to make sure that we touch base with all of the daycares and all of the preschools and all of the sweet, in-home daycares. It's very important that all of our kids are counted. A lot of parents are like, why would I count my kid? Because your kid is going to be 10 years old the next time we have a decennial census. So we've been missing out on that funding for 10 years. So that's not 1,678 one time, that's times 10 per person. So that is why we are here today, and that is why we want to talk to you about the census. Just a little overview. Many of you probably know that it is mandated, and it is required by law. I am a proud 44, and a lot of people younger than me had no idea it is mandated. And some people don't care. And so we have to kind of adjust how it helps us. So we want to make sure that this year everyone is counted once, only once, and in the right place, for sure. An easy way to do that is where you lay your head 6 months and 1 day. Where you are April 1st. I love our little census social media campaigns. They're just little Post-its and says, who counts? Mom, dad, sister, baby brother, Max the dog. Shh, Max the dog does not count. And so, we are trying really hard to just educate. Sometimes you have to go back to the basics. And that's exactly what we're doing today, and that's exactly what, at the end of this presentation, we'll ask you all to do as well. It is mandated by the Constitution. It determines apportionment in Congress. $675 billion worth of funds every year are distributed. Texas gets roughly, it depends on what kind of numbers you see, we get a pretty big chunk, but not enough of that comes to East Texas, as far as I'm concerned. It is important and essential for redistricting. A lot of people don't know that. Decision making, especially when it comes, it informs governments, businesses, nonprofit decisions making when it comes to planning. And it provides a population benchmark for all the other surveys. A lot of people think, I have fear of the government, I have beef with the government, I don't want the government knowing what I'm doing, where I'm at. Guys, we're all going to always have beef with the government because they don't do exactly what we want them to do all the time. So I empathize with that greatly. But like I tell my parents and my senior citizens and my college kids and all of the other people that have come to me and said, I don't want to do it because I don't want to help the government. This is one area that it is under the umbrella of the government, that it comes right back to Gilmer, Texas. It comes right back to Marshall, Texas, right back to Harmony ISD, Gilmer ISD, Longview. So it is very important that we complete our census questionnaire, because it doesn't stay there. It comes right back where we need it in our communities. Employee oath, I have taken, and every census employee has taken an oath. We cannot and will not share your information with any other person. I believe it's 5 years in prison and $250,000 worth of fines. I'm going to end up hitting it. I like to talk with my hands. Kind of like Ricky Bobby that way. Statistical safeguards. We do not, a lot of people do not know that when you send up your, and now I want to sing karaoke. Now I want to sing karaoke. So a lot of people think when I send up my questionnaire, which is only 9 questions this year, that it's going to say my full name, my date of birth, my social security, everything about me. And it is not. Mine is going to say, my household is going to say 44 white female, 49 white male, 17 white female. That's all they get. And so a lot of our people think that, oh, they're getting our social security, oh, they're getting our phone number. And that is not the case. Now, internally, the Department of Commerce will ask you for your phone number. That is a question on the questionnaire. It's one of the 9. But it's important because we have a lot of different types of households. And so when a dad counts 3 kids in Sulphur Springs and then the mom counts 3 kids in Longview, the Department of Commerce is going to ask, where do those kids lay their heads 6 months and 1 day? Longview, Texas. It does not go any further than the Department of Commerce, your number. It's notated and done. And so a lot of people don't grasp that, the simplicity of what the Department of Commerce does. All right. Oh. I just passed one, Counting for Dollars. I highly recommend reading the George Washington University study regarding the census and how that money is allocated. And I giggle because I'm not a big statistics format a reading person, but it's fascinating. It's a lot of pages, a lot of cool numbers, and I do recommend that you take a look at it because it does allocate it all the way down to our area. And it was a little heartbreaking and discerning to see how little we get in East Texas. I want more. Our kids deserve more, our community deserves more, and it's here. It's just educating us all to remember how important it is and how it helps us. Not them, us. So here's some key dates. Unfortunately, for every good thing that happens, there's scams. I know that they just arrested a man in Montana who took the questionnaire from our website, made one that looked almost identical, and on the very bottom he put, if you'd like to make your donation to the presidential party, please send your check with this questionnaire. He had him a pretty nice Christmas stash before they caught him. So if at Christmas your grandmother or your aunt or anyone says, hey, I got my questionnaire in the mail from the census, please take that from her and ask her to take it to her local law enforcement because it is a scam. The earliest we will be able to fill out our census is March 23rd. We're going to be getting postcards. It's going to have an ID, an early ID for online and phone. You'll just type that in and you'll fill out the 9 questions and you'll be done. And we thank you in advance for that. April 1st is the big Census Day. A lot of towns and a lot of communities are doing Census Day pep rallies. So I definitely would love to talk to the schools in the area to maybe we can get that going. If you do not self-respond by phone, by postcard, or by email, then yes, those dreaded enumerators will be knocking on your door. But we can prevent that by doing those 3 forms quickly, because they will be released, for lack of a better word, into our neighborhoods come August. So we definitely want everyone to have it completed before then. December 31st, those numbers go straight up to the White House. My next question was, well, when do we get them? When do we get them? I want them. When do we get them? So hopefully it won't be much.
Question, do you
Yes.
have, so once you've done one online, and say they come by my house, will they know, will they have a paper that'll say this house is done?
The goal is the earlier the better. Once you get it filled out, then there's no need for an enumerator. That is the cool thing about being able to do it online and on phone this year. We're going to have live data entry clerks, and so there's going to be 5 reminders go out. But if you do it after the 2nd reminder, the goal is to not have any more reminders sent to you, and you will be put on a list that it's completed, and you will not have a need for an enumerator. And that is definitely, we want self-response, for sure, for numerous reasons. So again, those are the 4 ways, you know, everybody's favorite right there. I love how they said that, the in-person interviewer, that's the enumerator knocking on your door. But doesn't that sound lovely, the in-person interviewer? I love that. So I highly recommend online, by phone, or by mail. It took me about 12 minutes when I saw the questionnaire on our website, I did it by hand, just like a postcard. I did it for all 3 people in my house. It took me about 18 minutes for 3 people. So that's kind of what you're looking at. So here, oops, watch it not go back. All right, so I'm having technical difficulties this morning. It does not work the way I want it to. We talk about how we can help. The Department of Commerce has done a wonderful job of hiring local people to take care of the local census. We were the best they had in this area, I'm sorry. But they've not only hired partnership specialists such as myself and Adriana, they have hired recruiting assistants. Our #1 job is to get the community plugged in, the ISDs, the government, the city, the media. It is local business owners. How can you partner with the Department of Commerce and the Census Bureau? They have also have recruiting assistants, which some of you may have seen our recruiting assistants in this area as well. And I believe we just hired a new one for Upshur County, so I look forward to meeting her this week as well. But their primary job is to hire local people to take care of the local census. We have skin in the game. So the more local people we have, the more we are going to care for our community, and the more we want those numbers to grow. It's not just a job. We want that funding, and we want our population in our towns to grow. The things that you can help with, these are important, they're painless, I promise they are. One of the things that Gilmer, Texas needs is a complete count committee. A complete count committee is just a volunteer group of census ambassadors, very similar to what you're doing right now. And it is a great way to get an accurate count in your town and in your county. It is probably the most effective, in 2010 it was the most effective way to ensure an increase in population and census count. Apply for a census job. We all know people who might need a part-time job. The cool thing about this, you're not required to work a minimum or a maximum. We have people that work 40 hours a week for the census, and we have people that work 10 hours a week, 5 hours a week. I've got a group of college kids that they do it 5 hours a week. I have a couple of stay-at-home mommies that do it on Saturday and Sunday morning before their kids get up. And guys, it's $14 to $18 an hour in this area. That's great. That's great. It's a great boost. And one of the things when I took over my territory was I looked at my home. I was raised out by Barnwell Mountain, so I instantly went out to those farm market roads, and I was like, okay, I know there's growth. I've seen growth. Let's see the growth. Some of those farm market roads out there are showing abandoned. And it's not because they're abandoned. There's people that live out there, but we have people not filling out their census, and we didn't have local people being census takers in their neighborhood. It's very important. Those 2 things are very important to make sure that we get an accurate count here in Gilmer, Texas, and Upshur County. Promote the 2020 census with information, work, and inform community members. That's as simple as, our school districts, when they send out mail outs, they send out, a little mail out education, how the census helps our schools, your lunch programs, your title programs. That's important. And parents, when they get it and they see it, they remember it. Social media, someone asked, well, do I have to create my own social media census ads? No, I'm a cheater, pumpkin eater. I like all of our Department of Commerce social media pages, and I simply go and share what has already been created. So that's a partnership. And so it's nothing, time consuming, it's nothing that's gonna cost a lot of money, but it's just educating and promoting. Mr. CD, Mrs. Duke, you have a different audience than I do on my social media page. So when you share that, people are gonna pay attention to that. And that's how we spread the word. That's how we educate our community. And by April 1st, they're gonna remember those catchy little, don't count mats, but count the baby. And they're gonna remember that, and they're going to participate, is the goal. Provide questionnaire assistance. All of our libraries, the Sweet Library here has offered to open their doors, not only for applicants that apply for the census jobs. She's just wonderful and helpful in that. She has hosted some job fairs for us, so we're very thankful for that. But also on Census Day, there will be those of us with the Census Department. We're going to be spread everywhere, and it's going to be wonderful. And we're going to be at all of these locations that have opened up their computer labs for people to come and fill out the census if you don't have internet at home or on your phone. So those are just a few of the examples of. Again, I cannot stress the importance of a CCC. It is important. Here, we have several options. We have local government, we have community partners, and how you can play a role. When I say a role, know that we're right down the corner. Adriana and I both live in Longview, Texas, so we literally are very close to Upshur County. So at any point, know that we are just a phone call or a text away. Someone joked the other day, I'm sorry I texted you at 2 a.m., but I really needed to know that question. And I said, well, I don't mind you at all texting me at 2 a.m. I hope you don't mind me responding at 6. And we are 111 days away from April 1st. That seems like a long way away, but for me, I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my gosh, we gotta get it done. So like I told that person, and I'll tell you guys, my contact information is on the table. I will come any day, any time, and meet with you and discuss partnerships and how we can get everyone in Upshur County and Gilmer, Texas, educated, and most importantly, how to participate in the census. I wanna answer any questions. And the questions that I can't answer and I'm not an expert in, we have experts all over. Yes, sir?
Did I misunderstand you that they're not going to have your names on the census anymore? You were talking about it was just going to be your age and race.
Well, there are 9 questions, and obviously the first one, yes, sir, is that your name will be. Your name and address, yes. And I'm sorry if I didn't make that clear. Yes, Mr. Marshall?
You said there were going to be 9 questions, correct?
Yes, sir.
It seems to me like 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago, I got a whole stack of stuff to fill out. How many bathrooms you got and all kinds of stuff like that. They don't do that anymore?
They do not. And the cool thing about, a lot of people don't know that the Department of Commerce, over the last 20 years or so, have developed about 8 surveys, 8 different surveys. So it used to be the Decennial Census was, a small army every 10 years, and then poof, after Census Day, it disappeared. That is not the case. And actually, I know the city of Gilmer got the American Community Survey, because Miss Pam called me and she's like, what is this book on my desk? And so, even though we've made the questionnaire for the Decennial Census, 9 questions, we do have business owners and school districts that get the bigger, thicker questionnaires, and those are important because they keep those numbers a little more accurate. It's not just an every 10 year. And so you may as an individual or as an organization receive those, and they are going to be a little lengthy and they are going to be in depth just like he spoke, but please fill that out. A lot of people were throwing them away. I was in Tatum the other day and the librarian said, yeah, my husband threw that away. We thought that was a scam. And I said, a lot of people don't know. Because we haven't been taught and we haven't been educated. I didn't know that. That was one of the things that I learned in training, that it's not just a, once every 10-year operation, small army, we get the numbers and we get out. Now, they've created those. So the hope is that you will hear from the Department of Commerce regarding census information along those 10 years, whether it be email or not. Yes, sir?
Where and how long is the training?
There are trainings done in the local towns for census takers and for field. We do have an ACO, which is an area census office. We have that in Tyler. It takes me about 40 minutes to get there from my home, so maybe 50. It's on this side. Front and Beckham, I believe. So we're going to have data entry, and we're also going to have field hands. But for Gilmer, you will get to do it in your library. She has offered that anytime we have trainings.
How large area does the Tyler office cover?
It covers 33, 35 counties, East Texas. We are considered the 3193 track, and there's 8 of us. And so it goes from Kaufman to Harrison up to Marion, Rains, Benny Counts.
How far west?
West, Kaufman the furthest in our East Texas track.
Van Zandt.
Van Zandt.
Kind of goes down a
Yeah.
little bit, Kaufman.
Van Zandt or Kaufman. Training usually lasts, the CCC training, they scared us to death. They were like, you're going to be with these people for 3+ hours. Guys, I've done 4 of them already. We can do it in under 2. And it's fun, it's interactive. I try to make it as fun as interactive. And if you feed them, that's just as, they always come if you feed them. It is basic information, and again, it's information that you're already doing for all of the organizations that you're already plugged into. It's just one more topic, one more thing on the agenda. And it's a temporary thing. It's a temporary thing that has a lasting effect.
Evie?
Yes, ma'am.
You said something about redistricting, if we got in the right numbers. Now, what does that mean to us?
Your legislators, your conduits, your representatives, and even in the school district, it's going to start affecting redistricting on the schools. There's actually on our website, you can go look at the Redistricting 101, and I usually have it on me, and I don't, I'm sorry. Government is my weakness. I have learned so much, my brain hurts. And so that is one of the sheets that I look at frequently to remind myself. Census.gov, it is a wealth of information. It is user-friendly. I go to it probably twice a day for all kinds of stuff. You can just search in the titles, and it will lead you in the direction. But that is, it's going to start affecting everything. Complete count committees. These are the cool people that are great influencers in the complete count committees. All of these people have a targeted audience. All of these people talk to hard-to-count populations. All of these people are influencers and trusted voices in their community. And so we can probably all think of 2 or 3 people in each one of those little circles. And it's those people that we would love to have on the Complete Count Committee. It is those people that we would love to talk to and talk about partnering with the census in this area.
What are group quarters?
Group quarters are colleges, prisons, anywhere where you live in a group quarter. And we actually are going to start, we just came back from a week-long training in San Antonio, and we are about to hit the ground running. Colleges, which, we're about to do a lot of group quarters early. We have wonderful partnership specialists that are trained for the homeless population. And so we're pretty excited. We're going to make sure that we get everyone. We're going to do our part to make sure that everyone's counted in each one of our towns. So if we have a CCC, what is the partnership specialist comprehensive 2-hour training max? We will provide regular updates, and we will talk with you guys. We want to be at every meeting, and we want to help in any way that we can. We will serve as technical advisors. We will talk to you guys in-depthly about the operations schedule and calendar. We will support the 2020 census nationally and locally. Very, very important. I'm very excited to see what the world population is. I'm very excited to see what the Texas population is. But more importantly, I want to see what my 5 counties, their growth in those 5 counties, local. Very excited about that. We want to encourage self-response. Nobody wants a numerator knocking on their door at dinner time or at 7 a.m. in the morning when you're trying to get ready for work. And those are easy things. We're always on our phone. We're always on our laptop. And I have to admit, the postcard, I'm one of those people that waits to the very end, and I never did fill it out earlier, and an enumerator always made it to my door. Like, I promise I filled it out last week. But because I was in that area, it never made it. This year I'm gonna fill it out early. April 1st, it's Census Day. It's a Wednesday. Just if on that day, you know, when you see someone post on their social media, hey, it's Census Day, remember to complete your questionnaire. If you share that, that's a partnership with the census, and we appreciate it. You know, we really do try to make it as simple and painless as possible to educate as many people as possible in this 111 days left. We want to increase awareness, provide trusted messaging, and support of the census in all of our local communities. We want to thank the community for your participation. Once we get a CCC up and going, next August we'll have a party. Next August we'll have a party, and it's going to be fun. So here's the social media things that we have. I highly recommend that you definitely, if not all of them, just one or two of them. Everybody has different preferences on which one they prefer to use, but everything's turnkey. You don't have to create anything. You don't have to create anything, just a thumbs up or a share, and we appreciate that greatly. So in review, it is the law, it's easy, it's safe, and it's very, very important. That number is a huge number, and I know that there are states that get way more than we do, and I don't like it. Jobs, that is very important. Definitely make sure if you know somebody looking to make some extra cash, they can work around their schedule, and they can also contact any of us, and we will get them. Our recruiting manager is Sherry. She's fantastic. I'm going to stop talking, and I'm going to introduce Adriana. She, I think, probably has the hardest job in the 3193 track. She is our bilingual partnership specialist, and so I'm going to let her speak to you guys for a few minutes.
Good morning. Thank you so much for inviting us out here. Like Evie said, my name is Adriana Castaneda, and I am the bilingual partnership specialist that covers 38 counties. And I'm very excited because it allows me to go everywhere, up and down, left and right. But we do have a lot of challenge in the Hispanic population. However, I have all the faith in the world that we're going to be able to get everybody in our community to respond. And I think we're all at a disadvantage as communities because we don't do this every year. We do it every 10 years. And so we're bringing awareness, we're educating people, mobilizing them. And I do have business cards. Any place, any employer, any organization, any church in your community where it would do your city good for me to come and speak about what the 2020 census is, I would love to hear from you. You can email me that information. With the Spanish-only speaking population, because that's what my focus is pretty much just bringing awareness. And one of the things that I do is when I come to the places to do presentations, then I make sure that I look similar to them. So my work may look a little bit different than other partnership specialists. I've not had any place where I've gone and people just shut down. Everybody asks questions. They want to know. A lot of what's lacking in our Hispanic population is the education on what the census is, their empowerment, how much they count in our communities. And I am also very hopeful that as we move forward past the census, that our community leaders will continue to reach out to those hard to count populations. Because they're out there, we count, everybody counts, and we want to make sure that everybody knows that. Like Evie said, children 1 and under in 2010, 1 million of them were undercounted. So our community's lost a lot of money. And so that's why one of my primary focuses are Head Start programs. But again, if you know any place where we can bring this information, Ms. Parker was explaining to me about the tree farms that we have in this area. We went out to Pittsburgh and Mount Pleasant, and they told us about the chicken houses, and things like that. Those are addresses that may not get a questionnaire, and we want to make sure that those people are counted. Even though I was born and raised in Henderson, I'm pretty familiar with our area, but I don't know every community. So that's where those conversations with people that are out there, even the family service workers with the Head Start, they're going to know information that I don't know. And I need to know that because I need to send that up so that they will get a questionnaire and everybody gets counted. So there's different challenges, but from my experience of being out in the community, with the Hispanic population, other populations, everybody wants to be a part of it for the most part, and they've been receptive to it, so I'm really excited about that. Do you have any questions? Thank you.
How many
Thank
days?
you, ladies, thank you all for coming.
How many days do we have left?
111.
Thank y'all very much for being here. I can tell you